Who is the real Prahlad Kakkar? Aamir Khan versus Shah Rukh Khan. You fought with the client that I want Aamir and not Shah Rukh.
Yes. But Sushmita didn't believe that she could win because she thought it was fixed. She believed that the competition was fixed.
For Aishwarya.
For Aishwarya. I told her mother, I said, after Madhubala, there is nobody that's going to be in the film industry close to Aish. Her greatest hurt was being abandoned by the industry for Salman. That was her greatest hurt.
It must have just compounded to the breakup.
The breakup was a huge relief.
Is it?
To everyone, of course. Because he was very physical with her. Yeah?
She shared it with you?
No, I know. I was living in the same building. I used to make scenes in the foyer.
Salman coming to the building.
Yeah.
And doing screaming in the midnight, I heard.
All that. And banging his head on the wall. It's not an industry. It's a moms and pop shop. How is it an industry? There's nothing professional about it. Everybody is picked from families. It's such a system of nepotism.
How was it with Shyam Benegal?
Nobody ever argued with Shyam. I always tried arguing with him, but it never worked. And he always done and said, when you are making a film, you do it like that. I'm making my film, I'm going to do it my way. Salman used to be on our sets all the time because he was very good friends with my wife. And he was then just not even a struggler. He hadn't done anything in life. He was a good-looking boy. But he wasn't star material as far as we were concerned. He had lots of issues.
You did that PK doing a PK, I would say. Prahlad Kakkar does a PK.
Yeah.
What Aamir Khan did in his movie.
Yeah. No, I did that long before Aamir Khan. Aamir Khan bloody copied me.
Can I ask you how much truth was there to these recent reports of marital discord in Ash's life? People started speculating that she doesn't get along with Jaya Ji, she doesn't get along with Shweta.
So what? She's still the bahu of the house. She still runs the house.
Let's discuss Indira Gandhi first.
Tough as nails. Her only weakness was Sanjay Gandhi. She bent a lot of rules for him, which she wouldn't do for anybody else. Subramanian Swamy, in my opinion, is one of the most erudite, educated politicians in the ruling party today. I have no idea why he's been sidelined. Priyanka is a doll. This whole so-called affair, she never made a comment on it. Obviously it was serious. So it was very personal too. Somebody has to not be politically correct.
Does Arnab call you now?
Not anymore, after I told him that shut up and let me talk.
Eccentric, mad, whimsical. These terms are used for you.
Of course.
Prahlad Kakkar, I welcome you to the Vickey Lalwani show, and I must tell you that I am honored, privileged to be sitting opposite you, interviewing such a big personality.
What rubbish, Vicky. I mean, we've known each other for years. We go back such a long way. I mean, I remember you coming to my office and eating lunch with me.
Yes.
So what is the big personality shit?
Yes.
That's all for media. Between us, there's no big personality.
Firbi, I am coming across with questions today. So,
yeah, of course.
Aamir Khan versus Shah Rukh Khan. You fought with the client that I want Aamir and not Shah Rukh.
Yes.
In that ad with Mahima and Aishwarya.
Correct. He was charging some 17 lakhs and Shah Rukh was only charging 6 at that time. And why Shah Rukh was charging 6 was also because he was short of 6 lakhs for buying his house. So he said, I'm short of 6 lakhs, to 6 lakh de de mujhe, I'll do the ad. So I said, but he's not right for the film.
But you're still going for someone who's taking thrice the price.
Yes. I'm saying I want the actor. I want the image of the actor. And the money you talk to him about, that's not my concern.
Then
they went round and round the mulberry bush, and then after about 6 months of negotiating, he said yes. He didn't say yes to them. They said yes to him. He didn't budge.
What was differentiating the two at that time? Because they were both very young, very good looking, very charming.
The image that Aamir had with, what you call, Qayamat Se Qayamat Tak, was an innocent boy next door. No, just a nice, clean boy. And that's what I needed for the film. And Shah Rukh was there, but he didn't have such a clean image because his first film was Raju Ban Gaya Gentleman or something like that at the same time. And the character that he played was not as squeaky clean as the character that Aamir played. Now shooting was when Kaun Banega, I mean, QSQT and
Raju.
and Raju Banega thing, but at that time released, and both were upcoming stars. They were both very popular.
You had a hunch both will make it?
I knew they both would make it because I'd viewed Shah Rukh for the rest of the series. I wanted, for this particular script, I wanted
You
Aamir.
collaborated with him several times.
Yes,
How is it working with him?
excellent. He's a thorough professional.
Aamir?
Also, but anal.
What about Salman?
Salman used to be on our sets all the time because we were very good friends with my wife, with the production manager. And he was then just not even a struggler. He hadn't done anything in life. So we used to use him as, in our ad films as, not main lead, but when Feroz Gujarat was playing the lead in Usha Fans, he was an admirer, and things like that. He was a good-looking boy. But he wasn't star material as far as we were concerned in ads because he had lots of issues.
Like?
But he was short in height. He was not a great actor at that time. So we needed people to perform sometimes. But we used a lot of him in areas where, because he would come and say, I'll do it for 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. So instead of using somebody we didn't know, we much rather use him. So I've known him from then.
Yeah, so from Salman, I'm shifting to Aishwarya Rai. You worked with her a lot. Personally, professionally.
No, I was much more a friend than a mentor or a worker.
Yeah.
Though I did launch her in the Pepsi films.
You were a mentor, yes. But you stay in the same building
Yes.
where she stayed before marriage. How much are you in touch with her now?
Well, pretty often because she comes to visit her mother very often in our building, and I meet her. And not deliberately, but inadvertently, we meet at the lift or we meet at the...
Even now?
Even now.
Okay.
She's very warm. And I've never had a problem with Ash. She has never, ever showed me how big she is and etc., etc. She's exactly the same as she was when I first met her.
So why didn't that film happen? You wanted to direct a film for Gaurang Doshi with Abhishek and Ash. Why didn't that film happen?
Because Gaurang Doshi was a crook. And he wasn't serious about making the film. And I think Abhishek, more than Ash, Ashton didn't like him at all, frankly. But because he had a reputation for being a wife beater and all that. So she is very clear about things like that. But
She
Abhishek
didn't like that part.
Yeah, at all.
Flora Saini, his wife.
Yeah. So Abhishek felt that this guy wasn't serious about taking it through.
How did he sense that?
I don't know. That's between him. That he wasn't. So eventually it fell through because he didn't take it forward. Because there was a very key role. Actually, it was very well cast. Abhishek and Aishwarya were going to play the main leads, and Mr. Bachchan was playing the narrator of the film.
And he had agreed?
He was the Sutradhar. And no, I don't think he had agreed, but he was in negotiations with this guy because he knew him very well.
Yeah, but Gaurang and they have worked in RK.
They have worked in, correct. But then he had suddenly to leave the country because he was asked to, by the cops, and he ran off to Dubai or wherever he ran off.
Yeah.
That was the end of the project.
And he hasn't come back?
No.
So you also were thinking of casting Sushmita in this?
No.
बहुत reports आए थे.
No, not at all.
Okay. You worked with Sushmita as well?
I know her. I haven't worked with her, but I know her because I was there when she and Ash were up for the Miss India.
And there was Tremendous rivalry.
Not tremendous rivalry. What actually happened was Ash but had just started her career actually, and she was still a little raw. Sushmita was much more polished because she came from a convent school. Ash didn't come from a convent school. So when you conduct a performance in English, then people who naturally English is not their forte are always at a slight disadvantage to people in terms of the polishing, which is why Sushmita actually won in the question answer rounds. No, she was superb in that. But Sushmita didn't believe that she could win because she thought it was fixed.
Okay.
She believed that the competition was fixed.
For Aishwarya.
For Aishwarya. And because everybody was going around, Aishwarya was by that time, a very top level model, and Sushmita was nobody. And Pepsi had launched her, and she had become Lakme girl, and all sorts of things that happened. So she felt that there was too much attention being paid to Ash, and that she would actually not be in the running, even though she might have done better, in terms of everything else. And I remember meeting her in the changing room, because I was in the changing room at that time. I'd gate crashed the changing room, and she was weeping in the corner, and I said, "What's your problem?" She says, "It's all fixed, and I'll never win." I said, "Are you stupid?" I said, "You look at the jury. There's Mrs. Tata. There's God knows who else. You think they're going to be fixed by anybody? You think Simone Tata is going to be fixed? Don't be idiotic. Don't listen to what everybody's saying. If you deserve it, you'll get it. Because the jury is so powerful." I said, "They're not going to turn around and play favorites. They're above that. Yeah? And you can't buy them off. Because they're huge in their own right." So I said, "Stop bawling and go out there and see what happens to you." And she won. And she remembered it.
And she called you.
And she called me.
And said what?
And said, "Thank you for reassuring me, because I really at that time was so low, because I was absolutely certain."
Yeah, she was a wreck, I believe, in the
Yeah.
changing rooms and behind, backstage.
No,
and all
because
that.
she thought it was fixed. Huh?
Did Ash call you after the
I was with Ash.
same contest?
I went with her to the contest. I escorted Ash, escorted her back.
And
And she was very upset.
Shattered?
Not shattered, but upset that she had lost.
and why did she lose? What did she think at that time?
She didn't know. She just felt that there was some form of nepotism. But everybody does that now.
Form of nepotism.
Nah. But everybody thinks that if we lose, then there's some nepotism. But she lost because of the question answer round.
तो वो भी यही समझ रही
And
थी कि
also
fix था.
she stumbled because she was wearing high heels and she wasn't used to it. And in the last round, she actually stumbled. So there was a point remove there. And then the question answer thing in English. Sushmita was very confident in the way she answered.
Very fluent also.
Yeah, and very fluent.
So Ash का क्या हुआ English में उस time? Exactly.
नहीं, कुछ नहीं हुआ. She did her best, but it wasn't her mother tongue. So you always have to translate backwards, huh? You think in your mother tongue and then you translate.
उतने emotion के साथ.
Exactly. So people whose mother tongue isn't English and they have to be on stage in English, it's very difficult for them to be fluent.
And they never spoke after that for a very long time.
Sushmita and Ash. I don't know. I don't know about their personal thing. But I think it's unfortunate if they didn't.
During the contest, were they talking to each other? Backstage?
Yeah, they were.
They were.
Everybody was talking to everybody. Yes. It was like everybody was there. But the Queen Bee was Ash. Everybody expected her to win. So people like Sushmita felt that it was fixed.
And then Ash went on to win the Miss World.
The other Miss World, yeah. This was Miss Universe.
Yeah.
So, Ash went on to win Miss.
You were sure there that Ash will win?
I was always certain that she was a star. There was no question about it. I told her mother, I said, after Madhubala, there is nobody that's going to be in the film industry close to Ash. She's going to be the second Madhubala.
Can I ask you how much truth, if you know, was there to these recent reports of marital discord in Ash's life?
I don't think there's any truth because I live in the building and I know how much time Ash spends in the building. And it is because of a very valid reason. Her mother's not well. And she drops her daughter to school, to the Amani school, and she has to pick her up at 1. So she has 3 hours to kill. And she comes home and she spends those 3 hours with her mother and then picks up her daughter and then goes home. So this business of moving to her mother's house and all this is journalistic garbage.
नहीं बहुत आ रहा था ना. People started speculating that she doesn't get along with Jaya ji. She doesn't get along with Shweta.
But, so what? She's still the bahu of the house. And she still runs the house.
You never spoke to her about this. इतना आ रहा है पेपर में.
No.
कभी ऐसा बातचीत में.
I knew that there was no truth in it.
How did you know?
Because I knew why she was there.
Okay, because Vrinda ji is not well.
Yeah, exactly. Because everybody is saying she's escaping from her marriage and living with her mother. She wasn't living with her mother, for Christ's sake. She was only visiting her mother in the mornings while the daughter was at school. On Sunday, she never used to come.
So it was very, very clear, crystal clear.
I knew why she was coming and her concern for her mother. She was very close to her mother. And sometimes Abhishek also came. So I mean, what's the big deal? Why would he come if she was running away from him?
ये हमारे सोसाइटी में बहुत है. अगर कोई मम्मी के घर ज़्यादा जाने लगता है या रहने लगता है तो उसका हम बहुत ही
They talk rubbish, unnecessary. And if you notice, neither Abhishek nor Aishwarya has ever given a comment on this.
not a single word.
Not a single word. Why should they? तुम भौंकते रहो यार, क्या जो भौंक रहे हो? She has always maintained her dignity, always, right through her career. And the journalists hated her for that.
Well, I must put it on record here that I was lucky to have a one-on-one with her in Sun and Sand a few years ago. I remember I kept requesting her that, I need an interview with you. And finally she said that, okay, we can do it, but can you book a
Sweet.
Yeah, a room or whatever. So I called up the office and to be very honest, my office was fumbling. Kyun, cost, you know how it is. But before that, her publicist Archana and apparently she must have told her that call Vicky and say that I have done the arrangement and he can come at 2:30 or some, I don't remember, 2:30. So I was like floored and I went back to the office the next day and I really gave them a peace of mind.
But
even to my higher ups, I was so angry.
Special. It's so special to get a one-on-one with Ash.
So, that I told them, what are you guys doing? It's Aishwarya Rai. They have no answers. This is a discussion for another day. आजकल का जो है process.
चिल्लड़बाजी.
At the end of the day, discussion for another day.
So how did the interview go?
It was very good. Very good.
She's terrific. I'm telling you. Her whole thing is, in the beginning of her career, she didn't have the confidence to be able to carry herself in English. Okay? If you interviewed her in Tulu, if you interviewed her in Konkani, if you interviewed in Hindi, she was much more comfortable than in English. So people felt that she was standoffish. She wasn't standoffish. She was just a little afraid that people would misconstrue her, that she wouldn't find the right sentence construction, the right stringing along, the right emotional connect. And that's why I'm so protective about her. Because I understand that. And I watched her grow from nothing to some phenomena.
I think she's like a daughter to you.
Yeah. She's terrific.
Were you watching that period when she got replaced in Chalte Chalte
Yeah.
and Salman and she fell
course,
apart
of course.
and Rani took over that
Of course.
movie?
I was very much a part of that.
And what was the conversation?
Nothing. I was just very supportive.
Like
That's
how
all.
you motivated Sushmita backstage. How were you motivating
I
and
told her, I said,
reassuring
don't worry
Aishwarya?
about it. She said, but the industry, her greatest hurt was being abandoned by the industry for Salman. That was her greatest hurt. She really felt that.
It must have just compounded to the breakup.
No, breakup, around, she was relieved, I think, at the end of it. The breakup was a huge relief
Is it?
to everyone, of course. Because he was very physical with her, yeah? And he was very obsessive. So how do you deal with somebody who's completely obsessive and
She shared it with you?
who? No, I know. I was living in the same building. I used to make scenes in the foyer.
Salman coming to the building
Yeah.
and doing screaming in the midnight, I
And,
heard.
all that. And banging his head on the wall. Point was that at the time that by the time it ended, the relationship ended long before it ended.
Acha.
It was relief for everybody, her parents, her, the whole works. You know? So she was upset about the breakup. She was upset about being completely,
Ostracized.
not ostracized, but everybody took Salman's side and not hers. And the truth was on her side.
Then how did that change for her again?
It didn't
Do you
change.
remember that moment?
I don't think it changed. I think that was her commitment to the industry. That's where it actually cracked. Because otherwise she was very committed.
Are you saying that after that, the films which she did are much fewer in number than what she would have done otherwise?
Yes. She didn't trust the industry anymore. Because they weren't playing fair. You know, I could understand if she was wrong and the other party was right, or they were playing equal sides. Nothing. It's so one-sided.
I mean, she might have gone to some filmmakers and they might have openly told her that, boss, we are not casting you because of Salman.
No, but she knew that.
She knew that, but it may have happened in person also.
Of course it must have. Of course it must have. That really hurt her, and I think she felt very, very betrayed by the industry as such.
You worked with Priyanka.
Priyanka is a doll.
Is she in touch with you?
Off and on, whenever I meet her, yes.
On the WhatsApp or
No,
SMS?
No, not like that. When we meet socially or when we're at the same thing. She's a doll. She's a great person to work with. She's very ambitious. She's very single-minded. She's very focused. And she has a certain sense of dignity which she will not allow people to enter. So this whole so-called affair, she never made a comment on it. Everybody else was commenting. She never said a choo. She held her dignity. And if it was a frivolous, relationship, she would have laughed. Obviously, it was serious. So it was very personal to her. She didn't want it to be written about. She didn't want to be talked about it.
So, did you know that she'll do better than Lara Datta, if I can say so? Because उस time जैसे
Always
सुष्मिता और ऐश का था,
Always knew.
उस time, you know, there were people. I remember talking to Rakesh Reshta. We were doing a photo shoot. I think it was for Lara, or was it for Priyanka? I don't remember that day. So everybody, including him, used to say that Lara will win the race. You know about this?
Yeah, I know. But I always knew that she'd win the race because she was so single-minded.
I mean, I'm not putting it as a race, but you know how they get pitted against each other.
They both launched at the same race, like Sushmita and Aishwarya.
Yeah.
So, Priyanka had huge disadvantages at that time. Firstly, she was dark. Okay. Second, she had a bad skin. And she still does. Okay, so her skin had to be actually made up and covered. And then she was a strong looking girl. She lost a lot of weight to look like the way she did in Dostana. She looked like $1 million in Dostana. I mean, there's no question about it. She had to work damn hard at it because she's not a delicate looking girl. She's a big boned girl. So you're not just losing weight on your flesh. You're also having to deal with a skeleton which is hatti-katti. Yeah? She's not a pushover. So she had very focused.
No, her confidence was, and I'm sure is immense, because whenever I met her, I don't think I met a person who seemed more confident than her. I mean, I don't know who's more confident.
No, but
and
look at the decision making. When the industry decided that she was too old for young heroines, she was the first Indian heroine to move abroad and make it there. You know, I mean, who takes that kind of risk to leave? You are getting bit roles, you're getting parts, you're not top of the line anymore, and you decide, I'm going to restart my career again. How many people can do that? Yeah?
I think what brought her back, and I remember somewhere she had lost her, ascent. But the movie which brought her back was Madhur Bhandakar's Fashion. You agree?
Correct.
I think she was shooting for Kamine with Chai, then I had met her on the set and she was very excited about Dostana.
Dostana was it was an out-and-out commercial film, but it was so funny.
Yeah.
And Abhishek was so brilliant in it. That's why I believe that Abhishek is a great actor. He's just lazy.
Abhishek in that just 1 or 2 scenes on the cycle in Main Prem Ki Deewani Hoon was fabulous.
Fabulous.
Just 1 or 2 scenes.
No, he is amazing. He's just lazy.
I remember telling Priyanka that I think fashion will take you 1 step ahead and that will be your benchmark. She looked at me, I don't know whether she agreed with me then, because sometimes these actresses have कि वो बड़ी canvas की film नहीं है. खैर वो काफी अच्छी shoot हुई थी. So she nodded, and then I told her again when I met her, and her mother also,
what did you say?
that I knew fashion will do something.
They
all smiled. I mean, what will they say?
No, but she's so single-minded about her career.
Yeah.
That there are very few people in the industry who would not have given up a long time ago because of the kind of treatment that they give to heroines. Heroines are not treated well. Yeah, shelf life is very limited.
Let's know the real Prahlad Kakkar. I mean, you are termed as an educationist. A scuba diving school you started, a cafe, a bar, a restaurant, of course, theatre, and then films. Who is the real Prahlad Kakkar?
Well, all of them are real Prahlad Kakkar because all of them are my hobbies. I've never worked a single day in my life. I've never worked at work. I've always taken my hobbies and made them into my various obsessions, professions, whatever have you. Right from making films, which was a very big passion with me. So I would have actually paid somebody to allow me to make films. Instead, I was being paid to make films. Now, you can't get into a better situation than that. You want to do something so badly that you're willing to pay for it. And then somebody turns around and says, "Yeah, tu paise le le, this ye kar de." So the fact is, throughout my life, whatever I chose to do, and whichever hat I chose to wear, was always a part of my facet. And every human being has lots of dreams which sometimes don't come true. Okay, I was one such human being who just pursued his dreams relentlessly. So I did whatever I wanted to do. You can call me self-indulgent, you can call me lucky, you can call me fortunate, you can call me, well, we just got away with it. But the fact is that I had a blast doing whatever I did. And everything touched my life to make me the person that I am.
Let's go back to the days that, this ad guru or ad man, what they call you, but there's an M in the front.
Of course.
You are said to be eccentric, mad, whimsical. These terms are used for you.
Of course.
Now, my question is that, is it from the beginning? Because when I see, or when I read some of your early history, that you were sacked from a play school.
I wasn't sacked, I was expelled.
Okay, better word. And padai mein dhyan nahi tha. I used to run away from teachers. I also used to run away.
I'm dyslexic, boss. I didn't know I was dyslexic because they hadn't invented the state at the time that I was young. So nobody knew. No, they thought I was a duffer or lazy.
You were running away from teachers even in college, from classes. I'll tell you exactly that what I was doing. I was running away from a certain teacher in 8th standard because I was petrified of his persona. He had an intimidating persona, and I had lost interest in maths, and somehow I couldn't decipher what he was saying. I ran away from school in lunch breaks and used to tell my aunt and mom at home that we have a football match. I am not selected. I like only cricket. And so one day, after 2-3 days, he came to my house and admonished me. He next day said that you come here. And my guy was sitting beside me, said, you have had it. I said, no, I wouldn't have it because I have a letter from my mother saying that he was not well or something. How can he touch me? He beat me up black and blue.
Wow.
Some 11, 12 slaps on that stage which we used to have in school, that dais or whatever you call it. And I have still not recovered with that might of his hair.
Traumatic, yeah.
But
How old were you?
I was 8th standard, 13.
That makes a huge impression.
But I got back on track in 3 days. So I went back to my books, I went back to him, and I called him up recently, a few years back, maybe not recently, that what I am here is because of you. Otherwise, I was gone.
Really?
I had completely lost interest in studies.
No, but at least then what he did was the right correctional.
I personally feel so. So today's parents might go running up and
reporting the police.
And reprimanding him. Yeah,
no,
maybe.
Reporting the police,
Yeah.
I mean, spare the rod and spoil the child was the motto in our time. We all got punished capitally. We got caned, we got slapped, we got,
No, I'm not advocating corporal punishment here.
When you deserve it, you'd get it. In public school, I was in a public school, the military school.
Did you get beaten up?
Of course, not beaten up, but we got it very ritualistically. It wasn't passion. It was cold-blooded. If we did something wrong, we were called up on stage and we were given 6 whacks on the bum with a cane.
With a stick.
Yeah, with a stick.
Yeah.
We called 6 on the West.
Yeah.
And we used to be jumping up and down with pain. I mean, it was also the humiliation that it was done in front of the whole school. But also the fact that it hurt like hell, yeah. So you just made sure that you didn't get... See, the most important lesson in life is not that you do everything right. Never get caught. That is a lesson that you learn very early in life. That कांड करोगे करो, पर पकड़े मत जाओ. पकड़े जाओगे तो फिर छुट्टी हो जाएगी.
So you started doing theatre?
Not theatre. I was in a play in school. It was like everybody is in it. I was a skinny little fellow and I was playing a fat guy. I had lots of pillows stuffed on me. Billy Bunter I was, eating cakes.
You're on your way to become skinny again because you lost oodles of weight.
No, I hope so, yeah. Because I need to.
So you started doing theatre. I think just about 12 to 15 months you did, and then you jumped over to Shyam Benegal.
Not really. I passed out of school. I went into college. I got into games. I started playing football for the college. I was an athlete. I used to do hurdles. So I was always an outdoors person. I mean, even in school in Dehradun, my bringing up was in Dehradun, which was all jungles and rivers and places like that. We used to go cycling all over the place. So people used to look at me and say, "ये geek है, चश्मे हैं, सूखा सा है, looks intellectual." But I was exactly the opposite. I was a complete outdoors person. I loved nature. I loved being out in the jungles. Everything that came with growing up in a place like Dehradun. My real transition to advertising was that I wanted to actually join a tea company. I wanted to graduate from school as quickly as possible and go to the tea gardens because they didn't require graduates. For the planters, they were okay with school graduates. And I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to become a tea planter. I got myself a job also. But my grandmother put her foot down. She said, "No, you need an education. And it doesn't matter what you do after your graduation, I won't interfere. But you will graduate." So she shoved me into college and she sent me to Pune, which was where she came from. She was a Patwasan. And she sent me to Ferguson College. And the rest is history, yeah, because Ferguson College was a very, even at that time, was a very conservative college. You know, the boys and girls never used to mix together. It was a co-ed college. But there were very few open relationships as such. Everything was very hidden and clandestine. I joined advertising completely out of desperation. Because I got a job.
And you excelled in that eventually?
No, eventually yes, but I got a job in a bank. I got a job in a multinational bank after my graduation from college. And before my results came out, I was walking around Fountain and there was a long line of people standing there, suited, booted. मैंने कहा क्या हो रहा है? I was very thirsty and I was very hungry. I had no money. तो ऐसे क्या हो रहा है इधर? तो इसे इंटरव्यू चल रहे हैं. कौन सा इंटरव्यू? इसे वो walk-in interview. So I looked around and I said, "चाय मिलेगी?" तो इसे हाँ मिली. तो मैं भी ज्वाइन कर गया क्यू पे. I joined the queue basically to have a cup of tea and some biscuits. So when my turn came for being interviewed, there was this Gora sitting there, chap called Mike Winters, wearing jeans and a t-shirt like me. Everybody else was in suit boot. The interviewer was in a t-shirt and jeans and I was in a t-shirt and jeans. And this is तेरा तो पता कभी नहीं कटने वाला. तू तो गया. Anyway, walked in. My 10-minute interview became a 1.5 hour interview. We talked about everything under the sun except the job. And at the end of it, he said, "You're an interesting guy. You're the right kind of person we want in the bank. If you get a good second class in your thing." I didn't tell him that I majored in military strategy. My major subject was military studies. I didn't tell him that. I told him economics because my sub was in economics. So I said, "ठीक है यार, economics तो करना है." So I said, he says, if you get a second class in your economics, you come to us, we'll give you a final interview and you have the job. So I went back to Delhi. This was in Bombay. And everybody was buttering laddus, saying, "Pappu pass ho gaya." Then I came back to Bombay in the middle and I decided, देखना चाहिए यार ये चीज़ क्या है ये bank. I don't know what I was supposed to do. I was horrible at maths. So I said, if they need me to calculate and all, I can't do it. So I go to the bank and they have all the trainees are sitting in the basement. You go to the basement, not a single window. Some tube lights are lit, kadak air conditioning. All of them were wearing what you call warm clothes because it was so cold there. And I couldn't make out the difference between the men and the women. They were equally ugly. So I looked around and I said, "भागो, इधर तो तू मर जाएगा. पहले तो सूरज नहीं दिखेगा तुझे. If you don't have sun on your skin, then how are you going to survive? सूरज नहीं दिखेगा. ऊपर से people are so unattractive and they're so boring and they're all लगाएं, they're sitting in rows, calculating with calculating machines. मैंने कहा भागो यहाँ से मर जाएगा तू. I never went back. And when the time came and passed, I didn't go back. And they said, "Kya hua tere naukri ka?" I said, "No, I didn't take it." So I was, it's like, they said, "You to Kalanka and you are useless. You don't bloody well come to us for help." So I said, "Fine, I won't come to you for help. Why should I come to you for help?" So I was walking around Jorbag, and I walked past a bungalow, a lot of very attractive young people sitting and sharing lunch in a winter morning. I looked at them and there was a board saying ASP. So I asked them, I said, "What do you guys do?" They said, "We are advertising." So I said, "What does that mean?" So they said, "We advertise for brands like Horlicks and Ye and O and all, Ovaltine, whatever, whatever." I said, "You guys seem to be having a lot of fun." They were laughing and talking, not like the bloody bankers who were looking like serious, like they were going to die any moment. I said, "You guys are having fun in your job?" He said, "Yeah, we have a lot of fun." So I said, "Can I get a job here?" He says, "We have no idea. You have to go to the office to the building, and talk to the receptionist and get you an interview with somebody." Walked in. And there was this girl. I almost fell down when I looked at her. She was 5'10". She had the best legs I've ever seen because she was wearing a mini skirt in Delhi. In 1970, Delhi was like the most unsafe place in the world. And for this lovely looking girl to be wearing a miniskirt to office was to me the most bravest thing that anybody could have ever done. I was so impressed by her. So I said, "Can I get a job here?" So she said, "What do you want to do?" She said, I want to work in a company." So she said, I looked at her and I said, "Definitely I want to work with her, with her in the company." मैंने कहा, "रिसेप्शन पे ऐसी बैठी हो तो अंदर तो कितनी होंगी है?" So, she said, "You don't come today, come tomorrow because Mr. Chatterjee, who is the boss, is in a very bad mood."
You tried your best to impress her
Of course.
as you rolled along in the job?
Yes. So, I mean, she must have been impressed because she actually went and did some shifarish for me and told the old man that there's a youngster waiting to see you. Will you see him? So he was in a bad mood. And she told me that and she said, "देख, तू कल आएगा तो अच्छा होगा तेरे लिए. आज आएगा तो तुझे कुछ नहीं होने वाला." So he said, "Yeah, send him in." So I went into his office and he was reading a newspaper. And on it was a full page ad for Liberty shirts. And on it was a very sexy looking ad. And he was obviously very upset with the ad. And he was making all kinds of grumbling sounds and he looking at it and threw the paper on the side. I said, "Yeah, what do you want?" So I said, "So I want a job." He said, "What do you know about advertising?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Why do you want to join advertising?" I said, "Because it looks like a fun place. You guys seem to be having a good time while working." He said, "What do you think of the ad?" Look at the ad. I look at the ad. It's a man's back. Okay, the ad with a woman's hand over his shoulder, over his neck, holding it. In her hand, she's wearing gold stilettos. She's holding the stilettos. So she's nange pair. You can see her eyes just above his shoulder from the back. And he's wearing a shirt, a plaid check shirt. And on it is a copy. It says, "We met at a boring party. One thing led to another. We ended up on his pad. I loved his shirt. I started with the buttons. Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor. Oops, no more buttons." And said, "Liberty shirts. Anything can happen." Okay. This was 70s. And
You said it so spontaneously.
Yes.
I mean, the whole thing.
No, it was written, I still remember it. It was so well written. Tinker, tailor, soldier.
No, I mean,
sailor.
so say you said it in this style, very style.
Yeah. So I read it like that. So I looked at him. Now I had a quandary. I said, "इसको सच बोलूं कि झूठ बोलूं?" झूठ बोलूंगा तो कहूंगा, "No, I don't like that." And you are right. सच बोलूंगा, I love that, which is true. सच बोलूं, चलो, सच बोलते हैं. So I said, "I love the ad." So he said, how can you love that? It's immoral. You know, it's unethical, it's immoral, this, that. You lead everybody and say, what does she mean by landing upon his pad and opening his shirt button? You know, I mean, what does that suggest? I said, it suggests what it suggests. But I love it for what it suggests. So he said, I hate it. So I looked at him and I told him, out of great courage, I don't know where I got the courage. Then I told him, sir, if you are 55 years old. If you had liked this ad, the campaign would have failed. This is meant for 18 to 19-year-olds like me. We love this ad. This is going to be a huge success. Oh, he says. Then he decided to give me a job.
He was 55 who didn't think like 19.
Not at all.
You were 55 when you thought like 19.
No, I still think like 19.
You did that PK doing a PK, I would say. Prahlad Kakkar does a PK.
Yeah.
What Aamir Khan did in his movie.
Yeah.
You know, just by covering your essential...
No, I did that long before Aamir Khan. Aamir Khan bloody copied me.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that he copied you or you copied him. But ये picture publish नहीं हुई फिर वो Times of India campaign.
नहीं हुई यार, because Times of India wanted a photograph. They wanted me in a tuxedo with 2 bikini-clad chicks and a cigar and my hat, and saying that this is the notorious Prahlad Kakkar. He also reads the Times of India. I told the photographer, Parik, I said, Dad, you want the truth? Let's do a photograph which is the truth. ये तो fiction है यार. This is the impression people have of me. But let's get down to the basics. So इसे क्या करना चाहता है? So I want to take my clothes off and only wear my hat with a fish in my hand. We are very connected to the ocean. So he says, "Kar." So we took that shot on this in Mud Island. The dog came and sat between my legs, far away in the field. So everything is there. And he took the shot and I sent it to Mohammed. Mohammed Khan was the agency. And I said, Mohammed, this is the true photograph. This is the fiction. So you use whatever you want, but eventually I think you should use the truth one if you have the guts. Because only Pratima Bedi before that had actually taken her clothes off and run through Juhu Beach.
Could you have done that?
No, I doubt it. I didn't have that kind of guts. Yeah, hat was covering the essential here. So then I was okay, you know.
But that picture didn't get published.
Obviously not. Times of India had a blue fit. They said, we are a family newspaper, how can we publish this? Mohammed told me that they've selected the other photograph, so you can keep this one.
Yeah, but you know, when you tell me this, that 2 girls were supposed to be there in bikinis.
Yeah.
And you told me something earlier that in that bank cabin or room or whatever it was, to you it was a dungeon. But the men were not attractive, the women were not attractive.
Correct.
Do you like to be surrounded by handsome men and beautiful women?
No,
and wait. And you are known to be, or maybe you're labeled as a man who loves to be surrounded by girls in bikinis.
Not at all. I love to be surrounded by women of substance who are attractive, intelligent, and who can hold a conversation with me. Because I can't talk to them, what am I going to do with them? I find something very attractive about unconventionally not good-looking women. They're also very attractive because their minds are so attractive. Their hearts are so attractive. I can spend time with them. See, my main problem is, how do I spend time without getting bored?
How was it with Shyam Benegal? So you worked with him on Manthan?
I worked with him on all his early ad films and on Ankur and on Bhumika, on Manthan, Ankur and Bhumika, 3 films.
So how was it? I mean, was he a very hard taskmaster?
Very hard.
Were there arguments?
No, there were no arguments. Nobody ever argued with Shyam. What he said was the final word. I always tried arguing with him, but it never worked. Tana told me, Shyam.
I'm asking you this question because of your nature.
No, you always, Tana said, why can't we do it like this? And he always done and said, when you are making a film, you do it like that. I'm making my film, I'm going to do it my way. Okay, now just listen to what I want and get it done.
And this is exactly what you told Aamir Khan when he said that, let's reshoot that ad with Mahima and Aishwarya Rai.
Yeah. No,
this is my ad.
Yeah.
When you make yours, you do what you want.
Not quite, but there was a shot.
Come on, words can't be the same.
No.
But you meant that.
I meant that, of course. I told him very clearly that, boss, that's my call. You might disagree with it, but I don't agree with what you're saying. You feel that you need that shot to be reshot. I don't think it needs to be reshot. You don't worry about it. You leave that to me. It's my reputation. Yeah? If I take a bhalta shot and put it in, I mean, तू तो कहेगा यार ad film में क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Feature film थोड़ी है. Your main thing is feature film. It's my whole life. So trust me on this. So actually, we then kept quiet and we put the same shot in the film. And then I showed him the film. And he looked at it and said, yeah. Okay.
Immediately?
Yeah. No, after seeing it about 200 times.
200?
Yes.
And you were sitting there?
Yeah.
Tell me, when you went out from the Shyam Benegal, school, what did he think? And you started making these glamorous ads, if I can put it that way. Did he think that Prahlad Kakkar sold himself, if I can use that word? I mean, not in a bad way.
No, he gave me his full blessings. He then, by that time, had realized that I was driven, that I wasn't just doing a job. I owned the job. And I did it damn well. There was no detail left. I was very highly anal about detail. And he was very happy with that. And when I went to him and I said, 3 of his assistants, there were 3 of us who started Genesis. There were Mandeep Kakkar, Ravi Upur and me. And we all were his assistants. And we went to him and said, Shyam, we want to start our own company and we want to make ad films. By that time, we were making feature. So he wasn't making ads. There was no conflict of interest at all. So he looked at all of us and said, all the best, you guys will do well. But, he said, that once a slave, always a slave. If I need you back, you'll drop everything and you come back to me. We said yes. And that remains true till the day he died.
You kept in touch with him?
Always.
Always. You were with him when he was unwell. I think he was ailing for nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
So, what did he say about your work? Because the normal transition would be that when you go from a maker like Shyam Benegal or a Govind Nilahani or, you make the stuff which is probably similar to them.
Not necessarily.
Not necessary, but I'm saying a majority of people would do that. Now you jumping absolutely the entire track and going on to a new one and saying, here I come.
Yeah, this was me. He knew that. And he was very proud of me. He was always very proud of me in a very deep and secretive kind of manner. He would never tell me, but he used to tell others. I always wanted to make commercial cinema. I didn't want to make art films because I was having so much fun. And my ads were coming out so well because they were so hatke, They were different because I was using a lot of my gut to change the scripts, to make them different. So, of course, it also created problems because a lot of people turned on and felt that, I was being arbitrary and I had to change them on the set. Kuch bhi karta rahe, kisi ka sunta nahi tha. But I was ready to reshoot the film if I was wrong. But I wasn't willing to reshoot the film if they were wrong.
But you seldom gave the client the premise that he had asked for. Or maybe the premise you gave, but how he had imagined it, envisaged it.
Yeah, but if he could imagine it the way I could imagine it, then he'd be making the film. Why was I making the film? He's the client or the agency. So I said, fine, I'll shoot. I don't agree with what you want. I'll shoot it and get it out of the way. Then I'll shoot my version.
And if they didn't like it?
Which? My version. I never showed them my version. I showed them their version. And they hated it. 99.9% they hated what they had forced me to do. And then when they were like thinking, because the client was really angry and said, what is the shit you produced? Then then I would turn around and rescue them by saying, I have another version.
So you always had two versions?
Yes.
One in your chore pocket?
Yes.
And one in your front pocket?
Yes. Because there's no point arguing with agencies. Because they hold the money. So they'll turn around and tell you, तूने नहीं करना हमारी script तो तू भाग, किसी और को पकड़ेंगे. There are lots of options. Huh? So it's okay, we'll do it your way and we'll do it my way. And I was very clear about that. I said, I'll spend my own money and do it my way.
तो कभी ऐसा भी हुआ होगा कि उसको जो फ्रंट पॉकेट से निकाल के दी होगी उसकी वर्जन he or she must have liked it?
Yeah.
And then you didn't show your version?
No, I didn't. Because if they're willing to accept shit, then who am I to tell them that let me give you sugar?
Did you make any ads which at some point started making you say that, nahi yaar, I should have done it differently?
Always.
Perhaps you cringed at some?
Of course. Some of my ads I hated.
Like?
Lots. Yeah. Ads I'd made for PNG, which was so basic and horrible that I used to cringe. I should deny that I made them. The point was that there were films that I had to sometimes deliver which I didn't agree with. And they were cringeworthy. But you see, advertising is very...
No, there must be some from your own version also.
Yeah, they were cringeworthy. I had to reshoot them. I had to not deliver them. I had to turn around and say, wait, give me a week. I need to reshoot this. I don't like it.
Tell me about something more about advertising. I believe today there is a lot of client interference.
No, today what's happened is that we've come a full circle.
And are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying the scenario?
Not at all. That's why I'm stepping away from it. And I'm doing other things. I'm teaching, I'm trying to run a college. I go to Delhi to lecture in the Marwa school. I travel, I give lectures, I hold workshops for corporates on branding and brand building.
You ran into a discord of sorts with Abhishek Bachchan.
Not discord. See what happened was
where you said that 17 films, despite that he's survived.
When
17 flops.
The discussion was about the industry, the film industry. And I turned around and said, it's not an industry. It's a moms and pop shop. It's a how is it an industry? There's nothing professional about it. Okay, the only professional people are the technicians. The actors, the directors, the families that produce are not technicians. They're not professional. They're very moody and haphazard. That's why films take 2 to 3 years to barely make. And you're so star dependent. I said, and everybody is picked from families. It's such a system of nepotism. I said, if somebody else had 17 flops in a row like Abhishek has, then would he still be getting work? They would throw him out of the industry. So my mistake was taking his name. Frankly, I shouldn't have. That was out of line. But there's so many cases of people in the film industry, families who are given chance after chance.
But he came and said that Mr. Prahlad Kakkar also casts his sons in commercials.
Not at all.
He said that?
My clients cast them.
Okay.
Not me. I don't cast. I mean, I select the cast and I turn around and give it to the client and say, you pick the cast, yeah?
But you project names.
No, we shortlist them. But when
so your son is in that shortlist?
To my son, no. The client comes to me and told me, please put, I want your son in my ad.
So only then.
I said, are you joking? I said, he's a monster. Who's going to deal with him? He's 3 years old and he's a law unto himself. मैं तो नहीं करने वाला. He said, नहीं यार उसी को चाहिए मुझे. मैंने कहा देख मैं.
You're talking about when they were young.
When they were 3 years old.
Yeah, and later?
Later they never wanted. Okay. They were all the same idiot kid who was an impossible actor. Is now a DOP. Is a damn good DOP.
And they never got into modeling again.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And then you apologized.
No, I apologized for using the name.
On Twitter.
I turned and said, my bad, I shouldn't have used your name.
And then he called you?
Then, yes, he did.
Okay, what did he say?
He said, it's okay. But the one who took up for me all the time was Aishwarya. She turned around and told the bachans, she said, listen, don't take Prahlad seriously. He's a motor mouth. वो कुछ भी बोलता है. That's the way he is. Doesn't mean it. She really supported
She convinced him.
Yeah.
So, I want to talk to you about this advertising client interference. We spoke about it a little earlier. How much does this client interference decide the outcome of the ad today? What we see are a lot of bad ads today. Let me be very clear.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Okay. जो हमें पहले की ads याद हैं, वो ऐसे मुझे कोई ad अभी नजर नहीं आ रही.
You know why? One simple thing. That clients are not owners of companies. They are employed by companies to be managing directors, to be this, that, no. They're professional marketers. They're completely risk averse.
So there are layers.
So there are layers. Okay. Now, if a creative director had access directly to the client and he turned around and say, you are the owner of the company, take a call on this. This is a hatke film. It's not your conventional goody two shoes or this problem hai, ye solve ho gaya. This is a very edgy film. It's funny, it's irreverent, it's disruptive. तूने रिस्क लेना है कि नहीं?
वो तो कॉन्वर्सेशन ही नहीं होती है.
वो तो होती नहीं ना. So the point was at our time, we were directly in touch with the top decision makers of the client. And the agencies were part of the team. I was a part of the agency team. So we presented our concepts to the client together. It wasn't they presented and then they came to me as a producer and said, ये है, sorry what, ये ऐसी करना है. और तू कुछ और करने वाला है तो मत कर. So why do you think people stopped coming to me for work after a time? Because they thought they can't control me. What they didn't see was...
These setups you mean?
Yeah. What they couldn't see was that how often was I absolutely right in my instinct for changing or tweaking the script. Nobody bothered to look at all my films and say 90% of them are working. Which is why he has such an enormous reputation in the business. But they were saying, nahi yaar, we can't control him. Obviously, if you come and tell me something stupid, I don't want to listen to you.
Plus, they want to control you.
That is the whole idea. That today agencies and clients want to control the producer.
तो प्रहलाद ये एम्प्लॉयमेंट एक्सचेंजेस क्यों खोल दिए हैं हमारे OTT प्लेटफॉर्म्स ले लो या आप एड कीवर्ड ले लो, कहीं भी आप देखो ये क्लाइंट बोलते हैं मेरे मैनेजर से बात करो, मैनेजर बोलेगा मेरे PR से, PR बोलेगा मेरे फलाने से. There are layers, there are these young people, 30, 35-year-old.
Not even 35-year-old, 25-year-old.
I'm not discounting their skill. I'm not saying that all are like that.
No,
but I'm saying there are many
inexperienced. Your producers have got 20 years of experience behind them.
Who come and tell a 50-year-old creative that we are going by the Excel sheet, we are going by the data, this is it.
Complete rubbish.
Emails, and there is nothing discussed on emotions.
No, but when you
songs.
When you look at the research and you look at products that have been researched and launched and failed, You know the percentage? 80%. And the products that have done brilliantly were never researched. Somebody turned around and took a tukka and said, I will back this, I like this. I don't care what your research.
हाँ बट चीज़ तो वही जमती है ना जो इमीडिएटली अच्छी लग जाए. आप आज स्टाइल्स देखने जाओ, कपड़े देखने जाओ, कुछ भी देखने जाओ. The one which hits you first.
No, it's your instinct, huh? It's your experience.
Correct.
What is instinct? It's your experience. It's your vast knowledge of how a consumer section responds. Today, advertising agencies tell me that the youngsters who the target audience is have an attention span of 5 seconds. Therefore, make me a film in 5 seconds. And I turn around and tell them that if you're giving them garbage, why should they even watch 5 seconds? If I give them a story to tell and engage with them, I can tell it to them in 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, they'll stay engaged. I guarantee you that.
And you are chiefly responsible for that Prithvi Cafe.
Yes.
How did it all begin? I mean, today I don't know whether how often you go there,
Not very often.
but that keema pao and Suleimani chai which they have is something to die for.
No, and my Irish coffee,
Yes.
which is my creation.
Yes.
The Irish coffee I launched there. So,
And was alcohol put in it?
of course, totally illegally. But it was put in as a part of food. So it wasn't, you weren't serving alcohol.
Hmm.
You were serving alcohol in food. So you cook with alcohol. So we got away with it.
How is that? Explain that.
You can put alcohol into a roast chicken and make it with wine, or roast chicken or roast mutton with something, or flambéed. So you pour cognac on it and light it and bring it in flaming. So you can use alcohol for cooking without a license.
But coffee mein nahi.
But coffee may becomes a grey area, na? It's still not serving alcohol. It's serving coffee with alcohol.
So you and Jennifer ma'am started it together?
Well, what happened was I was hanging around there one day, and it was a samosa and chai place. Okay, so they used to serve during the intervals of theatre. They used to serve things. I had just come back from England, and I had gone to a theatre restaurant in England called Joe Allen's. So I went to Jennifer and I said, Jennifer, can't we do a Joe Allen's with Prithvi? So she looked a bit shocked at me and said, how do you know about Joe Allen's? So I said, just come back from England, watching a lot of plays. And I used to end up at Joe Allen's. And it was empty before the theatre ended. The moment the theatre ended, everybody, cast, crew, everybody was there. And a beautiful bar and lovely food and salads and things. बहुत मजा आया. So she says, it'll never work here. So I said, let me try it. So she said, okay. She said, you have to pay rent of 500 rupees, which I will keep in abeyance. If you're not making money, I won't charge the rent. So Jennifer came, I met Jennifer and I said, let's do a Joe Allen's. She says, I challenge you. I said, it's very good to get the time. You are busy, and you and Tardev. This is Juhu. So I said, we'll only open it in the evening during theatre time. It will not be open during the day. So it'll start at 6:30 and we'll wind up by 11. So the audience that we'll get at the restaurant will be only people who go to the theatre. So I'm okay with that 200 people who come there. Because if they want something to drink, if they want something to eat, and when by the time the play gets over, it's 9:30, 10. Where are they going to go running around at home to get food? तो उधर ही आके खाना खा सकते हैं ना. So she said, sounds interesting, let's you do it. So I got hold of Mrs. Pinto. Mrs. Pinto's daughter, Jenny Pinto, used to work for me. And she used to invite us over on weekends for her mother's cooking. She was an amazing cook, Mangalorean lady. She cooked the most amazing fish dishes I've ever eaten in my life. Okay. So Mrs. Pinto, I told her, will you come with me in partnership? In Prithvi Cafe, I've been offered this place. Let's run it.
Offered nahi, challenged.
Yeah, challenge. So she said, okay. So we were set. So she was the chief chef, I was the chief waiter. And our menu changed every day depending on what we wanted to eat. I used to ring her up every morning and say, what do you want to eat for dinner? And she said, I'll feel like fish, moily, or I feel like this, I feel like that. And she said, what do you want to eat? I want to have a smoked ham. Okay. So she said, okay, let's put all of this in the menu. So on the blackboard was exactly what we wanted to eat. Now people wanted to eat with us, fine. They didn't want like what to eat it was okay, also fine. So Mrs. Pinto had a bunch of cooks from Kerala who she had trained. You know, because she used to do some catering work on the side. So we got all those guys in the kitchen. The kitchen was across the road. So the service was non-existent. You had to run across the road with the dishes. Okay, so I had to tell people, to menu से नहीं हो, मत order कर, blackboard पे देख, go to the kitchen, taste everything, see what you like, order that, and then it will be served to you. It was a very ad hoc kind of situation, and we were having a blast. Mrs. Pinto and we were partying every day. And I wrote something on top of the blackboard which never changed. For the 2.5 years that we ran it, we never changed the first item on the menu, which was the management reserves the rights to kiss all the pretty girls on the premises. Yes.
And
we kissed everybody. I did it.
kissed on the cheek.
Yeah, obviously.
Not like Udit.
Or the hand.
Not like Udit Narayan.
No. Either the hand or the cheek or whatever they were willing to offer. Not by my choice, by theirs. But that tradition is there.
No wonder that M before the ad man.
So we never changed that part. Everything else changed. Seasonally, depending on what was available and what she felt like eating, what I felt like eating.
You must be very close to her. I mean, when she fell ill and Jennifer.
Very. It shattered us. We gave up the place because of that.
Okay.
She was the heart of the place. She used to arrive there every third day and come and stand with us and help us serve tables. She was an amazing lady. Amazing. I mean, she was the heart of the place. उसके बगैर कुछ नहीं होता उधर.
You have some crazy instances in your life. I remember you saying somewhere that you were smitten by Shabana Azmi when she started.
When we were shooting Ankur.
Yeah.
We were all. I was. There were 40 of us. She was the only woman on the unit. There were 40 guys, from light boys to assistants to directors to cameramen to you name it. Everybody had a crush on her. She was a very attractive 19-year-old girl who first film that she was doing was this. And we used to pamper her. Everyone used to stand in line to pamper her. And when she damaged her toe, then it became my duty to dress the toe. So that toe till today is called PPPK, the private property of Prahlad Kakkar. A long second toe on her right foot.
Did she get smitten by anybody?
No, she was too focused on her role. She had a great crush on Shyam. But that's it. All actresses have crushes on their directors. I mean, that's a given.
And Shyam knew about it.
No, he used it. He uses that constantly to get performances out of his characters. Because once they go beyond liking, doesn't become love or lust or something, but goes beyond liking, then the most important part is trust. When there's complete trust between a director and an actor.
That implicit faith
they will blindly do what you tell them to. They will not hitch up. No, you will tell her to take her clothes off, she's not going to turn on your eye. For taxi, she do it. The problem with today is that you start doing soda with your actors. Will you expose? So she said, does the script require it? Say, do I trust you? I don't. You're going to exploit me. The script doesn't require it. As a director, you will only make an actor do something which the script requires. Not because it's commercially viable.
How did that KS condoms ad come to you?
Which one?
Kama Sutra condoms you did?
No, it never came to me. Everybody thinks I did it, I didn't.
You did?
No.
Because internet is full of...
No, it's all rubbish.
Okay. Here comes the first clarification.
The only thing that I had to, the only reason why I had some connection with the condom was that Pooja Bedi was working for me at the time she did that ad. She was working for me. So mother turned around, dumped on me and said that, "Isko sambhal, I can't handle her."
Describe Pooja Bedi.
Pooja Bedi was something else. She was the maddest, wildest young lady I have ever met in my life. There was nothing surprising that she couldn't do.
Like
Once I remember, she came to office. In the morning, she would come from Juhu. She lived in Juhu. So she didn't take trains and all. She was too much of a princess. So she used to hitch. And she used to hitch every day to Tarjo. Okay. And successfully. Yeah. One day she comes to office with a whole lot of watches, which were smuggled versions of swatches. Okay, but they weren't swatches, they were something else. But they were smuggled versions from some smuggling. I said, and she's handing them out to everybody. She said, "You want to watch?" You know? I said, "What's wrong with you?" So she says, "I was hitching today, and one Sindhi gentleman gave me a ride, and he was a smugglani." I said, "What do you mean by he was a smugglani?" I was sitting there in the car, and she opens one briefcase, and he said, "Do you like a watch? Take one." So she looked at the watch. The whole thing was full of smuggled watches. So she says, "Can I take a few?" So he said, "Why do you want a few?" She said, "All my office, the people will also want a watch, so can I take 3, 4? So he said, "Yeah." So she grabbed a handful of watches, shut the suitcase. She dropped her to Haji Ali. She walked from Haji Ali back to office with a bunch of watches. And she's handing them out. And I said, "Are you so shameless? Don't you think that he would have tried to take advantage of मेरी watch ले रहा है तो तू वापस क्या दे रही? You know, kind of thing." She was 17 years old at that time. She was amazing. There was nothing in the world that she thought that she could not do and get away with it. She was a delight. My office was completely distracted by her because she's such a good-looking girl. All my boys used to walk into fans and things like that, you know. The whole day I said, "Pay attention to your work. Stop being distracted."
Let me conclude this conversation by two politicians. One, you're meeting with Indira Gandhi in person, and one, that most interesting or surprising chat which you had with Subramaniam Swamy
on national
television. Let's discuss Indira Gandhi first.
See, Indira Gandhi, I was very junior. I was a trainee with Sham. And he was shooting a film for Hindustan Steel. And she specifically asked for him to do her campaign, where she dissolved parliament because she didn't have an absolute majority. And she said, "I can't work for you, for my people, because there's too much opposition. So I'm going to redo the elections, and if you think that I'm capable of serving you, then you give me a landslide majority. Otherwise, I'm not interested." She wanted Sham to actually make her films. So I was the only trainee left, and Sham was having to come all the way from Bhilai. So he told me, "You come and you be the courier and be a fly on the wall. Don't want to hear you. Too bad to that." So I watched the whole scenario happen. And every day I should take the rushes back to Bombay, edit them, bring them back the next day to Delhi, and have them approved by IPE. What was his name? Inder Gujral, who was the INB minister at that time, for her. And he used to say yes, no, whatever change he wanted. Then I had to fly back again. The first time in my life I was flying, and I did 20 flights in 10 days. Morning, evening. And made changes. I was there for the shooting. And she was very open. But she had to know that you knew what you were talking about. If she knew what you were talking about, she wouldn't interfere. If you were dithering or, laba-faba and you were neither here nor there.
Looking for validation.
Yeah. Then she would rip you apart. She was sharp as a knife. Kitana said, listen, stop wasting my time. Immediately about it. With Sham, he was very clear about what he wanted to do. She was very good with him.
But what courage? I mean, you don't get a majority and you go to the people again and say,
She
okay,
had timing,
either you take me out or you take me fully in.
Again. What timing? But her sense of timing was always brilliant. She was a grand lady, tough as nails.
You saw Emergency, Kangana playing Indira Gandhi?
No, I haven't seen it. How's that?
I haven't seen it either.
No. So, but she had character, you know. She had a resilience. Her only weakness was Sanjay Gandhi. Her only real weakness, if she had to have a weakness, it was Sanjay.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, she bent a lot of rules for him, which she wouldn't do for anybody else. She accepted a lot of his shenanigans, which she wouldn't do for anybody else.
Let's go to Mr. Swami.
See, Subramanian Swami, in my opinion, is one of the most erudite, educated politicians in the ruling party today. I have no idea why he's been sidelined. Because he has a focus and a didaction and understanding of problems, economic ones especially, which are like nobody else has. Nobody else can even touch him. But he's opinionated and he's pompous. Okay, so he was on a show with me, and I love opinionated, pompous people because I love breaking their little bubbles if I can and get away with it. And the fact is that I've learned a technique of how to get away with saying the most drastic truths, because I make it into a joke. And then I laugh uproariously about it. And the first person I laugh about is me. So if you can laugh at yourself, you can laugh at anybody. Okay? So we were having this very heated debate about censorship of porn. And the government at that time was hell-bent on censoring porn in your house. That's it. It's not the government's business to go into somebody's private life and censor what he wants to watch. That's his business. You censor what is in the public domain. How can you censor somebody what you're watching at home? That's it. You want to censor your own people? You catch those guys who were watching porn in parliament. At that time, 2 politicians from Karnataka were caught watching porn in parliament. That's it. You censor them, huh? They're the ones who need, censoring. Not some husband and wife who got jaded with each other and are watching a bit of porn for some excitement. And that's their business. No, it's this, that, not anywhere. Also the reasons why it should be banned. They told him, you guys are on a ban-happy thing. You want to ban cow meat, you want to ban beef, you want to ban this, you want to ban this, you want to ban that. At that time, it was very early days. Okay. And now you want to ban the missionary position because you think it's Christian. So once in his life, he didn't have anything to say.
He had no answer.
And obviously not. Nobody expected you to go on national time and say you're going to ban the missionary position.
Any debates you had after that on national television?
A lot. About lots of things.
You like to go for these debates?
I do, because I feel that somebody has to not be politically correct. I said, in a debate, you should have at least one person like me who's politically incorrect.
But they don't call politically incorrect people.
Now they don't, but at that time I was...
It's either this party or that party.
Yeah.
A is saying for his or her party, B is saying for his or her party.
Yeah, so people who represent the people on the street, there was only me. I had a huge fan following. People,
और इवन जो भी कुछ हैं जो पार्टीज में नहीं हैं, वो भी आप देखकर बता सकते हैं कि वो किस साइड हैं और वो हमेशा उस साइड बोलेंगे.
हाँ.
तो वो तो है ही नहीं अभी.
When I was called for a lot of Arnav stuff I was called for. People on the street used to actually stop me and say, "Sir, what you said was the truth." कोई सीधा नहीं बोल रहा था. सिर्फ आप सीधा बोल रहे थे. But to talk the truth is dangerous. Na? You're walking on a very...
Does he call you now? Does Arnab call you now?
Not anymore. After I told him that shut up and let me talk. don't answer your questions which you ask me yourself. But he knew that he couldn't override me. So as long as he wants to rant and rave, he'll never call me.
This was a very, very fascinating conversation. And I thank you once again for being on the Vickey Lalwani show.
It was a pleasure, Vicky. We go back a long way.
Pleasure is mine. Pleasure is mine.